are cobblestone squares, streets and alleys, half-timbered slated roofed houses. Mansion and manor houses bear witness to the history of Lannion through the centuries. Archaeological findings can certify human presence dating back to the Gaelic Roman period. Fortification remains of a village have been discovered in the Yode. We have two theories of how Lannion became populated. The first one privileged the idea of a Viking invasion in the Yode, as it is on the coast, forcing the inhabitants to withdraw upstream to protect themselves, hence Lannion was born. The second theory was the water table rising, which forced them to leave their homes to go upstream to a safer environment. The first official documents discovered mentioning Lannion date back to the 9th century. Under the Duke of Brittany, quite a few beautiful castles and mansions were built, but today there aren't any remains left, because they were all atrociously destroyed in and around Lannion during the Succession War. Brilliant Church, built on a hill during the 13th century, ascribed to the Knight of Templar, has a spectacular view over Lannion's town. You will be able to gain access by climbing up the 142 steps bordered by little houses. Saint-Jean-du-Bailly Church, built on the remain of the old castle's chapel, has lost its spire because of the religious war against Spanish mercenary and the pillaging of the town in 1590. The religious activity helped Lannion develop during the 17th century. A convent built from 1651 to 1690, Ursulines, used as a secondary school for girls, has become a temporary exhibition hall. During the 17th century, a town hall was then a meeting room with a prison built on the back of it. Rebuilt during the 19th century, today it's used as Lannion's town hall. The half-timbered houses you can see in Lannion were built during the 17th century. The Quai d'Aiguillon, situated on the right bank of the river, has been built under the Duke of Brittany in 1762. At this time, it was used as a commercial port with direct access to the channel. Today, the quay no longer houses a commercial port, but we can still see some fishing boats moored along the river. The First World War has been a difficult period for the Trégor, which lost a lot of its soldiers. Today, each town has its war memorial in remembrance of all those soldiers who died during the war. The Second World War and the occupation in 1939 has also been another difficult period for Lannion, with the creation of resistant groups in Servais. In 1945, Lannion is liberated and the inhabitants replace the swastika which was on the top of the church Saint-Jean-du-Bailly by a French flag. After the war, Lannion's telecommunication industry undergoes quite a boom. In 1961, the construction of the radome in Plumeur-Baudou started, which allowed the first intercontinental satellite link. The radome is still visible today. During the 20th century, Lannion witnesses a huge development of its town. The French Telecommunication Research Center chooses to install its head office and the research center here. Unveiled in 1960 by the Général de Gaulle. With this, Lannion developed itself in several technological activities. The Minitel and the optic fiber are just two examples of the huge projects in which Lannion took a major part in. Lannion at a glance. With its 20,000 inhabitants, it's the second largest town in the Côte d'Armor, itself one of the 96 departments of France. Lannion is known as a telecommunication capital. We must also emphasize the fact that Lannion is not just a plain town. It is listed as a historical city and town in boom.